example, like a Reddit scorecard, it's actually like kind of like a good thing for him. He delivers 2.5 offers for one contract accepted.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The company average, company history, is at 3.4 offers to contract accepted. So I'm still kind of playing with like these red numbers, but right now you're not that far off. You're at a 3.9 offers to contract accepted. Every 4 offers that you deliver, you get 1 contract accepted.
Right.
So the coach said that what we have to do is we have to find ways to like help you get to Retta like 2.5. You know what I'm saying? He said that the most common thing when somebody doesn't get a contract accepted is they might not set the right expectation on the call and they ghost, or like they don't box them in at the end, right? That's just like a couple of things that he mentioned. So my goal is to build like a good rhythm to listen to like the calls, so that I can like help all of you guys to like course correct. That's one thing that I haven't really done as much. To like be in the call and hopefully like every day, right? That's what we're gonna do, like the one-on-ones.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? To bring that number down a little bit. So I just wanted to share that with you. I do want to listen to that call from last week, the one that you got accepted. Again, this is just gonna be productive. You got the contract accepted.
Right,
but yeah, let's find out. Let's just go through the whole call and just find out what we could do to help you with. This was Michael, right? Michael Kavanaugh.
It should say his.
But I think that's the one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
I think that this might have been the first call right there.
Hello, Michael.
Andrew, how you doing?
How's it going, my friend?
All right. Hey, I'm here with my wife. Yeah, I was under the impression you were going to call us, but I got your number from one of the first emails. So
okay.
No.
280-1295?
No, it's 252-310-0527. Oh, yeah, 280-1295.
You never got a call. You get a double tap on that call?
No.
It's supposed to be a robot that has to call you and transfer you over to me, but I guess the robot is on vacation. Oh, no worries. Sorry about that. Then how can I help you guys?
Well, we're looking to sell our house. We have our children living in it right now, but
had you already spoke with him before?
No, this is the discovery.
Yeah, you hadn't spoke with him before?
No. He set an appointment.
Yeah, set an appointment.
Yeah, he had set an appointment.
Just something subtle right there. I kind of like it when you guys kind of like slow it down a little bit. Like, so like, how were you guys? We could help today. Instead of kind of like getting right into it.
Right.
That's just like one little thing right there.
They're moving out, so we have no use for it. We're looking to try to move it as quickly as possible. Obviously, we want to get as much money out of it as we can. We still have a mortgage on it, so.
Gotcha. So let's see. 4-bed, 3.5 bath. Whoa, 3,000 square feet. Huge house.
Well, it's kind of weird. It's like a mother-daughter. It's got a finished upstairs, and then there's like an apartment downstairs. They're detached. There's no common access, separate entrances. So it's not considered a duplex, one residence, but the utilities were set up separate. It's got different electric. It's got different internet. It's got, the only thing that's shared is the water, which is county water. Provide money. And it's got separate air handling units. The upstairs air handling units, HVACs are separate. It's not one for the whole home.
I think it suits mostly as a mother-daughter, or call it an in-law apartment or something.
Right. Yeah. Something I've noticed recently.
No, we're not.
The house isn't in Greenville.
It's in Murfreesboro, North Carolina.
It's not in Greenville? I do see here the little stable. Oh, which house is? We bought one at Simpson that was kind of like that. And then,
Near Simpson. About an hour and a half north of Greenville.
I have here 115 Chalmers Road, Greenville, North Carolina.
No, it should be Murfreesboro. I may have put the wrong zip code. It's 27.
Is there close?
It's 27855.
Yeah, I see here 27858.
Yeah, that's our Greenville.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There we go. All right, 2,100 square feet, not 3,000.
Yeah, that's why it didn't sound right. Yeah, there's like about 1,200 upstairs and about 900 downstairs. I would.
Still a large house, but not a monster house like the other. Or something. What do you guys do with that?
4 bedrooms.
That's a nice,
Kitchen upstairs and a kitchenette downstairs. I mean,
beautiful house, and it has is that a 2-car garage it has there, or?
No, carport on it, and a run-in for the lady had horses. We used it we had some goats there for a bit.
And chicken.
There's a little chicken.
Free milk and eggs? That's a deal.
We got male goats, we didn't get the females.
Oh.
No milk, but eggs.
I guess what do you do with the male goat?
Nothing, they were just a pain in the butt.
I actually used
Oh,
it.
having a dog then.
Yeah, they the whole property up.
Okay, well, they served their purpose, right? That's at least good. I thought they did nothing. I do see here the little stable here for a miniature horse. You only had one.
Yeah, I think that one.
I don't know what she had, but I think they said it was minis. They did have.
So just like little things, right? I'm just gonna continue to kind of like help you out. I think at this point you want to take the conversation like where you want it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So start addressing, like, all right, well, what I found works best is to have an open conversation with you. I know you're trying to build rapport. You're trying to build like some small talk. You know what I'm saying? And it seems to be working a little bit, but ultimately you have like a role to get these people through the process, be efficient with it, right? And just kind of like let them know, all right, like you'll get into the small talk later, but I know you kind of start asking like some other questions. Like I would have expected you at this point to kind of like let them know what's up, Do you know if you end up like setting the expectations?
I don't remember. I'm sure I did. I know I start off with, how are you hoping we could help?
Mm-hmm.
And then they usually say something. If they're not cut and dry, they usually say something. I wait for them to finish talking or bring up a point, and then I kind of like bring it in there.
Electric fence set up around the property.
But it was taken down.
You don't want the goats to chew on that.
No.
So look, it's a beautiful house, honestly. I guess I'm just curious and I like to be upfront about it from the get-go. How come you guys haven't gone the realtor route yet? Because if you go the realtor route, honestly, yeah, it'll take a lot more time, but you will get a lot more money. Well, yeah, you'll get more money definitely,
Yeah.
Yeah, so at this stage, I don't even think you really asked them exactly like why they want to sell. You know what I'm saying? So I know you guys were like talking a little bit here and there, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But first thing for sure is when you get on the next call,
Mm-hmm.
set the expectation. You know what I'm saying? How are you hoping we can help? Slow down on that part. I know you guys are kind of like chit-chatting, like making some little jokes and stuff like that. I think, not saying not to do that stuff, but just try to maybe keep it at a less, That way they can take you serious in the beginning, All right, so what I found works best is just to have an open conversation, trying to see what you're trying to accomplish, and just to see if we're even the right buyer for you, right? You got to detach yourself in the beginning, right? You haven't explained that right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to let them know, like, the ball's in your court, and it's like, this is the way that the process is going to work. Let me set the expectation. Let me set the stage. Like, the ball's in my court, you're in our office, and this is the way that we do business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of like chit-chatting back and forth, you'll get there, right? But I do want you to like hold these people and steer it where it needs to go.
Okay.
Because I need you to develop that habit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? With every single call.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the call, if I feel I can help, I'll speak to my underwriters here in the back in the office. They'll let me know if it can get approved for a cash offer. If it doesn't get approved, I'll still try to point you in the right direction. Boom, right off the bat, you gotta let these people know from the beginning. We're not even sure if it's gonna get approved or not, right? It might get approved, might not. And in their mind, they might be like, shit, damn, like, we don't even know if this might get approved or not, right? I need you to set the expectation.
Okay.
From there, have them grab your name and number, and then just boom, go right there. Then from there, you can kind of get into the backstory on the property. You guys could probably giggle here and there about the goats, about that. But in the beginning, it was like kind of steered in a different direction. There was no real direction to the conversation.
Right.
So they set the expectation. We're dealing with Alejandro now.
Yeah.
Okay, he's the one in charge now. Great. This property might not even get qualified, right? You want to be the authority. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think in the beginning, if you're kind of like chit-chatting back and forth, making like silly remarks or whatever, you're really creating authority. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So from there, I didn't hear like why they wanted to sell. Like I know that they might talk about it, but it's like the next part, predictability. I'm kind of curious, I guess like what's got you even looking to sell the house right now? Well, this and that, my kids or whatever's happening, and then from there you got the
Right. Yeah. So basically, because I asked after that chit chat, I went into competition. Instead of saying, well, this is a nice house, how come you haven't went with a realtor? I could have said, well, this is a nice house, how come you're even considering selling right now?
Absolutely, bro. Honestly, dude, like the most important thing to me when I used to do cold call and I used to have like a couple cold callers. I do like call audits. I don't want them talking about anything else until I find out like why are they selling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing else is really important. I want to know why you're selling it. Like I honestly don't even really care about your price at this point. You know what I'm saying? If you don't tell me like why you're selling it.
Yeah.
Well, what's going on? Like I want to know that first.
Okay.
So at this point, like if I hear like the next call next time, I want to know like why are they selling it? That's like the fucking like first thing that we got to find out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gear the conversation right there. Like why did you even reach out to us? You're gonna get to the other competition and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think it's just not that step yet.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't really, I don't feel like risking, like I don't have the finances to bridge it for a long period of time, and I don't want to risk my finances on it, so
It is basically mostly a time issue.
But maybe in those points, just do a little bit of like of more listening and a little bit less dropping of like the gotcha or like maybe you can make a little noise, you know? Okay. But I know you've had that tendency in the back of just kind of like cutting them off a little bit. I think you're doing better. Just kind of like even refrain a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
We need to get into a new place here, because our one son's gonna be moving with us, and then,
So we're upgrading to a bigger rental down here, which is gonna cost us more monthly. So I wouldn't be able to swing both an apartment or a rental home down here and then a mortgage up there. And I don't feel like having it reoccupied, because my kids were fine, but I've had tenants in the past in other homes, and it never really works out.
yeah, we're not looking to be landlords.
It's too far away, it's just so inconvenient.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just thought I should bring it up.
Oh, and then like you mentioned also like with like the realtor, I forgot that. Like, what did you say?
Well, like, how come you haven't gone with a realtor?
Do you remember what you said after that?
No. Oh, yeah, because you can make more money.
Right.
Yeah.
I think in this point, like, you know what? It actually wasn't that bad, right? I feel like you tried to clean it up a little bit. Like, well, maybe like not that much money, but maybe like a little bit, right? But, you know, in this case, it wasn't that bad, I guess. It was when I had mentioned it to Retta towards the end where I feel like I like to tell them maybe at that time when we were listening to that call where he said like you can make like a lot more money. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, they actually kind of considered that. And so in this case, I guess it wasn't that bad, but maybe if there's like a fine line between that. So in this case, it wasn't that bad. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that I remember that I caught myself there because of what you said.
I felt like you had kind of caught yourself because you kind of cleaned it up.
Now, I do know that in every single call, just the way me and Retta do, in the discovery, of course, we don't do it in the end. We do ask that question, and when we do the same thing with the landlord route, we kind of want to sweeten it a little bit, and we want them to basically vocalize, oh, listen, this is a sweeter option, this is a sweeter option. Why would you even reach out to a cash buyer?
Right.
And then they know that they can make more money, but, and then they let you know, like, why.
Yeah, maybe just because it was, like, I felt that it wasn't, like, the appropriate time to kind of bring that up.
It wasn't.
You know what I mean? Just, like, if we're kind of following the process a little bit, it would have came a little bit after.
Yeah.
You know?
The good thing about these people, and it would have been the case if they were, like, red types.
If they were red,
red types, it wouldn't have been the case. But because they were more friendly people, they basically gave me pain with the competition and this and that. They kind of answered like 3 questions, but that's just because that's the type of seller they are. Someone more red would have just been like, oh, because I don't want to pay the commission.
Right.
Well, it's dated. I mean, it's the kitchen's kind of older.
Yeah, there's stuff here and there that we could, always remodel.
Yeah.
Get top dollar and everything like that. Just go a little excessive. Why is the way to go nowadays, apparently?
We were thinking of doing some updating if we stayed there, and we did update windows and gutters, have the new gutter shields on them.
The gutters were new. They put on metal roofs before we bought it, and then there were new gutters, but they were getting clogged, so we had that gutter shield stuff installed.
Goats chew on that.
Nose and gutters, have the new gutter shields on them.
Yeah, because we took both an apartment or rental home down here and then a mortgage up there. And I don't feel like having it reoccupied because my kids were fine, but I've had tenants in the past in other homes and it never really works out.
Yeah, we're not looking to be landlords.
It's too far away, it's just so inconvenient.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
At this point, I see how like call transition where they started talking a little bit about like the gutters and this and that. If you want to be more effective, I would kind of address that part with like the kids and the rental and just open that up a little bit more. You guys probably do open about it later, but if I were you, I would kind of start trying to open that up a little bit right there. Right. And like now, I'll just be like, okay, so you did well with your kids. Do your kids pay you rent? You know, like, oh, so they don't pay you rent? How long have they been there? And just kind of like casually or whatever, right? These are kind of like some of the bullets. You guys probably will talk about it, but then just casually just kind of start talking about that stuff. Like, yeah, we don't really want to be landlords. Like, oh, have you ever been a landlord? And just kind of pick that apart now. Like, oh, so, and you don't see yourself just continuing to rent it out to your kids by any chance? I'm sure they'll probably take care of the house for you or do some mislabels right there, right? And just open that up a little bit. Right. If you're going to be a ninja, you're going to kind of try to pick apart that part right now a little bit. They're already opening up to you a little bit. They're already kind of giving you information. Right. And that's how you're going to be more effective on these calls. Kind of like from earlier. The lady, I also felt that she was kind of giving you information. You can probably start trying to pick that apart. And then if they don't want to talk about it, then kind of get back to where you were.
Beautiful house, you know, it definitely qualifies for that. So.
Well, it's dated. I mean, it's got the kitchen's.
This would be like a more lefty close.
What does that mean?
More what? Lefty? Yeah. Well, okay. Compared to, I mean, usually, because sometimes some people call me and they're like, oh, no, I want a quick closing. So they ask for like 2,000. When would you have to close? Couple months? Sometimes they, okay, so this would be like a more lefty close.
What does that mean?
More what? Lefty? Well, okay. Compared to, I mean, usually, because sometimes some people call me and they're like, oh, no, I want a quick closing. So they ask for 30 days.
My son upstairs will be moving out on March 15th, but
okay, gotcha.
You know, I was figuring by April 15th I'd want to kind of get it settled, so that would be 2 months. I mean, if it settled sooner, you know, once we could get the other one out. And
the timeline doesn't matter for us, to be honest. It's just it was something to point out, because usually when I get a call from someone or when I'm calling someone, they tell me, oh yeah, as soon as possible, ASAP, yesterday.
No, we're not. Weird. We have the time, and yet we're not trying to sell it, so we're not.
Yeah, I don't want to get bogged down with the realtor, and then you know they require you 90 days or whatever. I mean,
closing costs,
and all that other crap. You know, we just don't want to deal with it right now.
So as far as a closing date, I mean, what would you guys want? 60 days or how long?
Yeah, no later than April 15th.
And so as far as what you guys feel like you needed for the house, how much was that?
I'm looking to try to be over 150.
So like 160, 170?
Over one.
The timeline doesn't matter for.
Yeah, I've seen get the other one.
Well, weird. We have the time, and yet we're not trying to sell it, so we're not.
Yeah, I don't want to get bogged down with the realtor, and then you know they require you 90 days or whatever. I mean,
closing costs,
and then the closing costs and all that other crap.
And so as far as what you guys feel like you needed for the house, how much was that?
I'm looking to try to be over 150.
What do you think you could have done different right there?
As far as the price?
Yeah.
I'm sure. There, I caught them off guard with the 160, 170, using Jeremy Miner's indifference tactic, where like they're caught off guard. Like, oh, well, you can do more, something like that. So they don't really feel like I'm trying to haggle them or make it too much about the price. You just steer them away. And then all that is like for the end, when I tell them, well, listen, I did my best to bat for you guys. This is where I was, but it's less than what you guys paid for the house. It really just came at this.
I personally would not have done that, the 160, 170. If I hear 150, I hear 150. Okay. Or I would have at least said I don't know, maybe 150, 155. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then also I think you may have missed a little bit of that's where you could have maybe addressed the other deal killers. I mean, they kind of talked about the motivation a little bit, and I think what I meant also with picking apart the son and not being a landlord, we have the process checklist. They kind of mentioned that's motivation 1, pain motivation 2. That's kind of where you kind of pick that apart. You know what I'm saying? That's where you want to know okay, so Tell me more about that. Why wouldn't you want to keep them there or whatever? Okay. So then this house is going to allow you to get to the next house or see what kind of an impact it's having on them. How is it making them feel? So I guess what do you think is like the next best solution? In a perfect world, what would that look like? Boom, from there. Have you guys reached out to any other buyers at this point? I don't think you asked them right there, did you?
No.
Probably not, right?
Not before that.
Yeah, so like I do want you to follow the checklist, the process, and then that would have been the next step, right? The next step would be like, okay, so like I guess besides reaching out to our company, like, I guess what other options have you explored to try and sell the property? You know? Oh, you did reach out to a different buyer? What's been the common feedback? How are the conversations going with them? And you're sure you haven't thought about fixing it up? Because you already asked the realtor part. Right. That's where the realtor part would have came out. Or
right, so here basically I was following, normally in the calls what I follow, more of a system is pain, so situation awareness, and then urgency. How much urgency is tied to that pain? So the pain was here that it's inconvenient. It's going to be inconvenient down the road. I guess this is like more outside information with the sons and everything, but the sons right up till now weren't an issue. I was more thinking, okay, so if the issue was future inconvenience, he's trying to basically nip something in the bud, how urgent do they want to sell? They have a 60-day timeline. So I'm not getting a lot of urgency and I'm not getting a lot of pain. Are they reasonable? So then I went into the price to kind of feel him out a little bit. And then he said 150, above 150. I was like, okay, they're very reasonable on the price.
Okay.
But not much pain and not much urgency. So kind of like, this is a different type of seller, right? Because usually people have pain and we use that pain to leverage a reasonable price. But these guys, they had low pain, but they had a reasonable price. You know, like kind of how we talked about warm leads and stuff like that. So these guys would be hot because their price is reasonable, but their pain is low.
Okay.
So that's why I was trying to feel him out here.
You were trying to feel him out.
Right. It's like,
okay.
Why? Like, where is he at? Like, is he gonna ask me for his estimate?
Right. Perfect. Well, listen. What I want you to do on the next time, when you have somebody that you feel like that, I want you to go through the impact a little bit more, the solution, painting the picture a little bit more, uncover the other deal killers, figuring out whether it's really a cash buyer, a cash offer. You touch on the timeline, and then from there, I would have also touched on the occupancy a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Because they spoke about the sons and stuff like that. Now you want to ask, like, okay, like, oh, so one of them can leave in like 60 days. Like, where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna move? Right? I want to know that stuff. Right. And then the other one was going to take a little bit longer. Oh, okay. Just curious. Like, where's he going to go, basically, right? And then from there, it's like if we're going to address kind of getting to the price, then that is kind of before getting to the property conditions, right? But I think you could have got some of the risk discomfort. Hey, let's pretend that our underwriting team qualifies the house for an offer. What kind of questions will you have next? And but lastly, it would have been a little bit of a value stack on the price. Right? You know, like if we're creating something a little bit more systematic, it's like, okay, if we kind of jump straight over here, our underwriting team came in with an offer where they don't charge you any commissions, they cover all the closing costs, they can help you get you on your way for a new house, you know, closing in 60 days and really just relieve you. Because in this case, I feel like I didn't even really understand. Well, it's that they didn't want to have this house have the second mortgage. That way, you don't have the second mortgage and you don't have to worry about becoming a landlord. Can you share with me like what you would need for an offer like that? Just a little bit more value stack right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that whenever I bring the price up early, I definitely don't value stack because I use it like as a feeler.
Okay.
You know, the value stacking definitely would help.
Yeah,
you know, these guys were kind of like they were strange, right? We don't get these types of sellers where they just are very reasonable in the price with low pain. But definitely with someone that, you know, is not as reasonable as they are, value stacking, they could have come down a couple $1,000 or even, you know, with everything. Oh, they're going to take it into consideration. Oh, okay, you're paying the closing costs. Oh, yeah, the commission's going to be a hands-free. Yeah, well, in that case, maybe 140, you know?
I think it would be a little bit of the opposite, where if it's somebody that is like kind of more red, coming off a little bit more aggressive, where the value stack isn't really gonna matter to them as much. Like if you're just gonna like throw the feeler out there. These people, I see how they might have been weird because kind of like they weren't red, but they were just kind of like they weren't really letting you know where they were gonna be at. You thought it might have been a high price, right?
Right. I figured, well, these guys sound pretty smart. This guy sounds like not savvy in real estate, but I wonder what their estimate is. They don't seem to have much pain. They're probably at estimate.
Yeah.
And then he came with that. I was like, oh, okay, shit.
Again, let's just remember to like not prejudge the lead. Kind of like, you know, make sure that you're taking everyone with respect as much as you can. It's just gonna make you more effective.
Right.
And the one thing that I would have not done was like the 160, 170. Yeah.
Reda brought that up to me.
Oh, he
brought that up to me. Cause
yeah, like
I showed him like why, and then maybe because it's a different industry. Maybe don't do it in wholesaling.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have done that right
in
there,
a
bro.
Product, maybe something else, but
because at this point you should already have the Zillow up. Like I would not do that. I would just not do that. You know, like I would just like be like, if it's 230 above 150. All I heard was 150. That's all I heard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe like okay, so maybe 150, 155, or even if you said not even 160, you shouldn't have not said the 170. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just created yourself like a 20K gap right there. You know what I'm saying? So that was a mistake right there.
Over 150.
I'll be honest, because here's the thing, right?
Man, they're easy going. If I was them, I would be like, yeah, 170's fine. I feel like they gave you an easy time here.
Right. Kind of like that's kind of the response when you catch them off guard like that. I was like, oh well. Now there was one person it backfired on. I remember when I put them on hold, the wife was like, "You think we're selling ourselves short?" Because I went 10 grand above.
Don't do that.
He's like, "Oh, you think we're selling ourselves short?"
Yeah, if Reda said don't do it, don't do it.
I gotta go back to the underwriters. It's not just me, right? So I gotta push to get this file through. So they will negotiate. So I have to.
This is like the first time that I think you're making reference to the underwriters when you gotta let them know from the beginning our expectation and that there's a team of underwriters. Create that authority. Let them know what the process is like, and it's not up to you, and you let them know from the beginning. And that way, it also makes it easier for you, like that you're just like the information gatherer. You know what I'm saying? You might have said underwriter a little bit before, but this is where I'm hearing it more.
Still haven't set the expectation up.
You haven't set the expectation yet. Yeah.
I've seen the value from 170 to 200, and I don't see us getting 200 for the house. Maybe if we listed it and did some freshen it up, make it look beautiful, and I would say maybe 165.
He got reinforced right there. You know what I'm saying? He was at 150 before, and then, in my opinion, he got reinforced 160, 170, above 150 to 165. That's like a big above, like, and we already know because you got him at 140. You got him at 140, so you knew that, like, in this case, that 165, like, it wasn't even true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, next time, you just heard 150.
Alright, so just to give them a better clarity of what the home looks like, I mean, I have some pictures here. How long ago did you guys buy this house again?
We bought it in 2019. Yeah, there was two, we refied a year later. That's why the show's 2020, but that was because it's so freaking low. I couldn't believe it.
I'm not sure if you've been asking for the price more regularly before the conditions, have you, or no? No?
No.
Okay, great.
It's mainly for people that are red.
Right.
It's mainly for people that are red, and then I feel them out. If they're somewhat reasonable, because here's the thing that I bring up. Let's say I bring up the price to someone that's red, and I let them know, like I set expectations. I guess what's more important to you at the end of the day, the people we work with, blah, blah. So is it just more about getting as much money as possible, or is there something in particular we can help you out with? So there they either tell me, really, I just want as much money as I could squeeze out of this, or they say, well, you see, the thing is, and then they give you the real pain.
Yeah, you did it good with the guy that had the big house the other day. Remember? Yeah, that guy. You did it good with him. This person, I did not expect you to address the price first, honestly. I think that they were pretty mellowed out. Right. I didn't perceive these people as red, so...
Yeah, but they had no pain. Well, they had low pain, that's the thing. That's why I asked, because their pain was low. I was still trying to, like, feel them out. Like, are they reasonable? But what's their game here?
I think just make sure that, in my opinion, I would have asked for the price after the conditions. I would have just got down to the conditions and all that, So just make sure that you keep doing that on the other ones where they're kind of easy going. That way, when we listen to the calls, it has the same process.
Right.
Walking down there,
Wife seems kind of weird.
we're right down from Como, right?
Very close.
We're only half an hour from Franklin, but then,
Invented the Kaplan gun.
oh, yeah.
Lived in Como.
Really? I didn't know that, right? So I'll let them do their thing. I guess, can I share with you guys what the next steps would be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, the underwriters now, they're gonna do their process according to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac appraisal guidelines. The way they do that is just by looking at the market there, seeing what properties in similar conditions are being bought and sold for. From there, they'll factor in their repair estimate, and all those costs on the side, like for example, the closing costs and commissions, stuff like that, that we cover instead of you guys, and then they put in their profit, and that's how they come up with their offer. That being said, they really just have two questions before approving the property any further for a final offer. Is the way when we approve a property here, we have a budget every week between roughly $1 million and $1.3 million. So we get a lot of files here, and we're not able to buy everyone's property. So whenever we do get property approved for an offer, they put that money aside, like marketing and all that stuff, right? They just want to make sure that you're comfortable if they move it forward. If you guys could just give me a clear no on our next call, if it doesn't work for you for whatever reason.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, once an offer is made, if it doesn't make sense to us, we'll be clear and honest.
I appreciate that. Of course, I appreciate that, because some people, they're trying to be polite, and they say, I gotta think about it, or let me talk with my spouse, or chicken, or goose, or whoever. But they're really just trying to say no, but they're polite.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, if it doesn't work, it doesn't. Nobody really has to work with us just because they submit. Right. So I guess now, if the deal is something that is reasonable to you guys and the offer is fair, is there something that might stop you from getting the process started today that you still need to figure out?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really? I would have mirrored that. That's wishy-washiness right there. I mean, you got him, but I want you to just identify that. I got another call. Not really? Yeah, no, not really. I take not really as
Wishy-washiness?
yeah. It's not really. It's not a clear yes. You know what I'm saying? Not really. I want to go to somewhere with you. I say not really. You kind of want to go, but not really, or
I just take that as no.
I see what you're saying, but to me that's a little bit of uncertainty. It's maybe even the way he said it, not really. If there was something that he was thinking about.
Okay, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I guess I didn't think about it like that at the time.
It would have just
I
been
got it as a no.
a simple mirror,
Right.
These small things, bro, I'm gonna help you guys out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These small things, I'm just gonna continue to help you guys out. These call recordings, as you could tell, I have not done these as much. I'm gonna do these.
Okay.
I'm gonna do these, and I'm gonna get my years of experience, and with everything that I'm learning, you from Reddit and everything, these little things right here, are gonna make you better. You know what I'm saying? Just little things like that. On this one, it probably wasn't something, but there's gonna be another call where if you let that continue to slip, not really, it's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little not really here, not really there, and then it's just gonna become get that objection, and then it's gonna become a loose end that just unravels,
Yeah.
So just next time you hear not really, okay, and then just have them elaborate. Okay, I just want to make sure, and then get to the next step.
Okay.
And now, if we come to a verbal agreement, how do you think that?
If you said not really, yeah, no, not really. Okay, so there's nothing that you maybe need to think of, or maybe you need to address that would allow you to just pull the trigger. That's a different way of asking it, right?
Double confirming it until you get no.
Until you get no.
Right.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
No, I don't got nothing to figure out. You know what I'm saying? Instead of a not really.
Right.
If you would have mirrored the not really. No, not really. Okay, I just want to make sure, if anything that you might need to think of, any future next steps, any.
Maybe you got to talk to your kids.
Yes, something, or the offer's fair. Would you be ready to, get the process started today if it gets approved?
Yeah, there's nothing like that. Let's do it.
Perfect. That's the response you want to hear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What?
The next step should be is what I mean. Sorry, my English is a little broken.
What's the next step? I don't know. You guys tell us
Will
what
we
the
get
next step.
together to sign papers, or is it something you do online?
I just like that, because some people, they tell me, oh, well, I gotta book an appointment with my lawyer so he can review everything, stuff like that. So I just like to ask that question just to make sure. But yeah, verbal agreement. Basically, the underwriter, they will go ahead and send our written purchase agreement to your email, and then all three of us would go through that together. Usually takes like 5-10 minutes. I mean, it's a pretty short agreement, so there's not much to really go over. But yeah, once that's agreed, reviewed, and it sounds like it's good for you guys, then you just autograph that or sign that, and then basically the next step would be that we would schedule a walkthrough for our inspections and photography. Now, we're just gonna have to see, what kind of time works for your son.
Right.
Mark in there, so of course, there'll be 24-hour notice. So let me see, what time is it right now? 6:20. Let me do this, because I'm pretty booked in terms of calls tonight. When is the latest you guys will be able to pick up a call and have a chat?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, I usually go to bed early.
Okay, not a problem.
If you have to wait till tomorrow, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'll just sort through my calendar. I'll see what I can do, and then I can let you know through a text. If anything, we can reschedule tomorrow. I'll let you know either way.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
All right. Well, Michael and Jennifer, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Is there anyone else that needs to be on the next call, so you can comfortably make a decision if we figure it makes sense to move forward? That one right there.
Yeah, I asked about a lawyer. Is there a lawyer that needs to be present? Oh, no, nobody.
Yeah, I know they in that part they were still a little confused,
Right.
because they didn't even understand your first question.
Right.
So you met a lawyer, but it's two different questions right there. Oh, well, somebody needs to ask some people they need to have a lawyer to make another decision. To them, they just heard the lawyer part. No, I hope we don't involve a lawyer. Maybe a follow-up question in that, and right after that, it's okay, I get it. So on the next call, does anybody need to be on the call? Do your sons need to be on the call? You know what I'm saying? Do they need to be on the call because they live in the house, right? I would have been appropriate, or just anybody, right? Because when you asked a lawyer question, it was just one-sided to them.
Yeah.
It was just the lawyer part. But what if it would have came later that they said, well, yeah, we do need to speak with our son also. Or what if they gave you that objection at the end?
Right.
All right, this is the offer. Okay, well, all right. I guess what we're gonna do now is we're gonna review this with our son or something like that, right? Just triple confirm that, so that I really like the way that the third party story would work. That the third party story works about somebody else on the call. Is there anybody else that needs to be on the call? No, it's just us, because I came across situations where we come to the final step, and they need to speak with their son, and I want to make sure that's not the case with you. Maybe you need to have your sons on the line, double come, like you just said right now.
Yeah, I know before this, I was under the okay, they're just kids, because we spoke about them earlier, and he was they're just rats, they're just not knows. One of them is immature and this and that. And I didn't think how a dad would see, I guess, a young son, right?
Right.
Kids,
right?
So I guess that's why I didn't. Plus, it was both influencers were there, but you're right. Anything could happen.
Of course,
right? They could always be oh, my
anybody, my daughter,
right?
Another daughter that is somebody who just has input, or who guides them. Because maybe on this one it might not have been the one, but you just want to triple confirm.
Right.
You just want to triple confirm, because the other thing too was that when you asked on I think you skipped a little bit of the roadblocks a little bit, because you talked about the roadblocks with the realtor first, and then you kind of went from a little bit of the pain, kind of how they elaborated, and then you kind of skipped over to the price. So if we're talking about the process, you didn't maybe ask if they explored other options, right? Or if they tried reaching out to a different company or something like that.
Yeah, I guess I was only because we don't really do it in order. It's kind of all random whenever it fits. So I don't really think of it like that. Just because I've tried to ask Retta is there like a set one? There's no like real order, and I guess that was like the most confusing thing to me in the beginning, right? Because there's no order at all. It's not like paint into impact into picture perfect. Because like me reviewing his calls, he goes like all over the place, this and that, window, and then by the end when he gets the condition, everything's checked off.
Right. So like, kind of with you, I know we've discussed.
Mm-hmm.
You're a little bit more of an order type of guy, right?
Right.
Like Retta, he can kind of freestyle it a little bit more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I don't know. It's just kind of like his style, right?
Mm-hmm.
You like to look at an SOP. You like to like take notes of everything. You take fully notes of everything. You like the checklist and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would prefer it. You know what I'm saying? That's how you think.
Right.
I would prefer it if you kind of kind of go down the steps a little bit more instead of like freestyling it all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, to be honest, that is how I've been doing it lately. Just like I haven't looked at the process at all. It's just all in my head.
At least the checklist. You need at least the checklist.
That would be. I would definitely be a lot more efficient.
You know what I'm saying? Like right before you enter a call, like just the checklist. You know what I'm saying? Or like we didn't print it out for you because like you like it more on the computer, but that's part of the checklist, and the influencers kind of comes twice on the checklist because it's we kind of go over on the roadblocks. It's influencers right here, which we didn't address, and there could be any other influencer, even if it's not a decision maker. It could be just anybody that has influence on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need you to kind of go back to the basics. You're doing a good job with like your LOA and everything like that, but I need you to become a shark. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then from there, once you do this stuff like fucking like all the fucking time, it's just like you won't even fucking need this process because you're just gonna look at it like on the back of your hand and you're just gonna fucking like know that shit. It's just these little things.
Yeah.
Just these little things.
Yeah.
You know? So if we're going through the checklist, it's setting the expectation, letting them know the ball's in my court. Instead of joking around with them with donkeys and goats and stuff like that, set the expectation. This is the way we do things right here. Your property might qualify, it might not. And then from there, they're going to take you like fucking serious.
Right.
And be like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? This guy, the last guy was joking to us about like animals and shit like that, and the goats ripping the but this guy, like, he's laying the authority. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From there, surface question, give me a little bit of backstory. Oh, you're trying to sell because you get the seller spot. Are you sure you're not trying to become a landlord? I mean, it's probably wouldn't be that bad if you become a landlord. Mislabel. No, actually, it would be bad. You know, pick up on that. Yeah, my kids would need time to leave and all that stuff. And how long have they been there? Are they paying you rent? Are they not paying you rent, right? No, they're not paying me any rent. Oof. Damn, they got some freeloaders. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How's that making them feel? Well, maybe if your kids left, you know, and you did rent it, you probably would have a stream of income, poke on that pain a little bit more, right? No, we decided we're going to sell. We're going to sell. Okay. How fast can they move out of there, getting into like the roadblocks? Now we're kind of going down a little bit, right? Oh, well, one's going to leave in 60 days. What about the other one? Are they, do they have families there? You know, like, oh, they do. Big family? Do they get along or not? You know, like picking apart, being a detective, right? Like, how are these people going to give you a good time or a hard time to like work the deal, right?
Yeah.
From there, so I guess what do you think is like the best course of action for you to take right here? Solution. In a perfect world, like when you sell the property, like what is the money going to do for you? I know that's your line right there. What will the money do for you?
Right.
Remember?
Yeah.
From there, you haven't called any other buyers or anything like that? Like any other cash offers? Or any other buyers? What's been the common feedback? Are you sure the cash offer's the right route for you? That's where you kind of get into like the realtor. I mean, if you list it with the realtor, you know, like you could probably get more. Yeah, but I ain't trying to do all that. 90 days. Da, da, da. How long? Then you get into the conditions. We skipped over all that. Let's see. So the next call, I don't remember the part where they said if we were negotiable.
If we were what?
If we were negotiable.
If we were negotiable?
Like if that was our final offer.
Hey, this is Alex. Hey, did I get you at bedtime? Oh, I asked if I caught you at bedtime.
No.
Oh, okay. I Sounded like you were outside doing something.
No, I was just getting outside of my gym.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Is Jennifer there with you?
Yeah.
Hey, Jennifer. Okay, there we go. Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right, so they're sending me the email right now. Before, I wanted to give you guys the fast offer number. You guys have something to write down with?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is F as in Fox, O as in Oscar.
I remember this call, and I remember when you said that. You said, "Oh, well, this is just a cash offer." You had said that the reason you said that was because you had kind of dropped in the novation like before, but on the other call, I didn't even hear you mention it.
Innovation. Your service before?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
we skipped over a little bit. Honestly, I skipped over the conditions. They might have talked about it in the conditions.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I may have brought it up there because I definitely remember I brought it up.
You kind of you brought it up a little
Yeah.
bit. Well,
Oh, that's bad.
right, we already talked about that.
Do that. That's our trump card.
The novation. He knows a little bit about this call because we listened to this call yesterday.
9645.
F-O-9645.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
So that is basically what we call our fast offer number. It's basically a reference number in the event that we decided, work together.
And we spoke about this last week, but just a little reminder on the offer. Just slow it down just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Slow it down just a little bit. If you can, you do a little bit of small talking here. I know that.
The call before? The call before? Is that what you're going to say?
Talking about the call before?
Oh, no. That I called them before this?
No, on this one, I would have just kind of tried to just engage him a little bit. I know you
Okay.
kind of got her on the line.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of small talk, and just kind of like warm things up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think we spoke about that last week.
Yeah,
Remember?
we did, yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about that one.
Yeah.
And then I had said the same thing.
Yeah.
Just slow it down a little bit. Just warm it up a little bit. Just kind of prep them, massage them.
The marketing expenses and everything like that, right? Just on the side for this file. And kind of how we talked about earlier, if this is just something that doesn't work for you guys, I completely get it. Feel free to tell me no, and then we can discuss it. So let me see.
Right. So that one's like, yeah, like so. Yeah, feel free to tell me no. Like like we talked about this on the next call. Like this one would have been like, hey Michael, how's it going?
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I didn't do this here because I spoke to him before, and then we did that call.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it. Because because remember there wasn't no hard appointment, because I had like a bunch of other appointments. So they said, before 8. So I had called him. He said that I already forgot the lady's name, that she wasn't available. We spoke, and then said, I'm getting home. That's when I called him. He got off his truck, and then this is just one of these scenarios.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been keeping in mind not like rushing.
Not to rush into it?
Right.
Okay. All right, cool. If you had already a little bit of small talk with them, there was already a little bit of a transition right there.
Where's that email? Now, of course, keep in mind that, as this being a cash offer, this is what you'll walk away with in your pocket, right? And minus, of course, your mortgage, property taxes, and liens. Do you guys happen to have any liens on the property? We didn't see any.
No.
Perfect, then. Perfect. If there's no liens, then again, this would just be, very simple sale. You guys don't really have to worry about just putting any money up front for any types of fees or anything like that. So let me see. Wow. I wish it was a good one. Honestly, I am a little bit disappointed where the cash offer came in at. I was hoping I could do a little better, but I guess it's not much different from what we last discussed, me and the underwriters. But honestly, it just came in at 138,130.
Right there. Just a little
No
fast.
value stack.
Yeah, no value stack.
No, you probably got approved for about days.
Right. Just a little bit slow, like, oh gosh, is it a good one or is it a bad one? Well, honestly, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. Dang. You're probably going to be disappointed by what they were able to approve. It's not that much different from what we spoke about. But just you keep in mind, this is going to be a mid number where you walk away with in your pocket, minus any mortgages or liens, which you say you don't have any. Again, this is going to be a simple sell, 100% certainty. You don't have to worry about putting any money up front for any fees. Don't fix anything. I did get you approved for 45 days with money in the bank. And again, you might think I'm crazy. Feel free to tell me so. Tell me no if this doesn't work for you, right? But the offer did come in at it came in at 124,555, right? That would have been good, and then
that would have been a good offer too.
That would have been a good offer, and it would have been easier for you to come in at 124 if all you heard was 150 earlier, right? 150, 155, but he reinforced the 165. So the 165 to the 138, that was like a bigger gap, right? So if he was at the 150 and you came in at 120, that gap wouldn't have startled him.
Yeah, I was kind of debating on where to come in at. I got some of Reddit's feedback, like where should I come in at? We were talking like between 135, 138. Because the fear that we had was like to get them if they were just disengaged completely. And that's kind of the tricky part with where we throw our numbers. Because I mentioned, well, Eric Klein, when he throws his numbers, it's to insult them. But he was like, oh, I don't really listen to Eric Klein. He's not really credible as a sales guy, whatever. So, because that's the thing also, we don't want to like have them disengage. We want to come in there where it's like, where they're still wanting to like stay in there with us and negotiate. Knowing what I know now about these people,
that wouldn't have happened, right? Even if you came in like at 120.
Even if I came at 120.
Right. I think it also just depends on how you say it. You know what I'm saying? If you make it dramatic and you do the accusation on it, like they're gonna think it's gonna be like really bad, and you're gonna feel like really bad, and you come in at the 120. No, that's probably not gonna work. I had a feeling you'd say that, and then transition to the novation.
138, 130.
Yeah. That's the best you could do.
That's all he really approved me for. Right there.
Well, that's just the cash offer. That's really all they allowed me. They approved for spending.
I was looking for like 145, 150.
Yeah, like 145, 150. When he had said 150, I know I keep hitting that nail on the head, but like that 150, that's all he really meant right there, and we reinforced that 165 because there's no. Otherwise, he would have been like. Well, I was really thinking like 165, but really what he meant was like the 150.
Not that big of a gap. Honestly, for the cash, it might not work. I could go back in there and check and see if they have a little bit more, wiggle room in terms of the cash offer. One thing I do know for certain, and I only really brought it up briefly when we spoke last, just because it really is case by case. To get any increase, I'd have to see if this would qualify for a concierge service, where basically nothing really changes. It's still the same as a cash offer. Only thing that they'll just need a little bit more flexibility with the time to close. Right now with the cash offer, because it's something that you do quick and efficiently, they got it approved for 45 days on closing. And for the concierge service, all they would really ask is that extra flexibility to be able to close.
What do you think the difference would be?
So basically, how that works is we work with our network, right? Our partners in this. So they're basically, we're not going to put all the funds up front because we're going to be working with our partner. And in this, of course, we still have all the benefits where we still pay all the closing costs. You don't fix anything. So it's essentially the same thing as a cash offer, only that we'll need more reasonable access to have our network go in there and do their inspections, any marketing we may have to do. Is that something that you guys want me to see if I can get you approved for?
We'll see if that's an option. If it's not an option,
Right.
we'll have to consider the offer.
Right, yeah. Either way, I gotta go back in there and back for a correct 38 cash.
Right there with the concierge, it really would have helped if we came in a little bit lower, but on the delivery of the concierge, even if like you said kind of what you said right there, just to keep it systematic, just where we kind of have a little bit of like, I'm not even sure if it'll get approved. I might be getting a little ahead of myself here, but I think your property might. If, if I can get you approved for a little bit higher, close to the number that you're looking for, I might be able to get you approved for the concierge program. We just would need a little bit more flexibility with the closing timeline and the access to the property. Is that something that you would even be open to hear more about? And then have them say yes? Or what would it work? So the way it works is that we would basically just go ahead and work with our network of buyers in our area. We have a robust network of realtors, investors, sometimes even retail buyers. And this would allow us to line up our end buyer. Essentially, you still get all the benefits of a cash offer. We pay out closing costs, no realtor commissions. It's like a cash offer, So is this something that you would like me to see if I can get approved? Or just kind of have like that little like...
the uncertainty. Like, I don't know if I can get you approved.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm hearing it again, up to this point, they weren't really against the concierge service yet.
Right.
Because I think he or she said it like, well, see if you can do that. If not, we'll have to consider that offer.
Right.
So I'm trying to wonder, like, what did I say after that threw him off the concierge?
Let's see.
145 work for you?
Yeah, that would be fun.
Are you talking 145 with the concierge thing?
I'm going to have to see on both, okay? I want to see what I can do on both. Typically with the cash offer, they try to be as fair as possible. Now with the concierge, the reason we can come up a little higher is because, like, we would lay off some of the expenses, right? Usually when they come in with a number, it's near their best. But let me go in there and let me see what I can do, whether it's cash or concierge. But does the concierge work for you guys?
I'm not understanding it 100%.
Yeah, there was confusion right there.
Right.
So the thing that you shouldn't have done was you shouldn't have came in right at the 145.
Right.
Like you shouldn't have done that yet. Like you should have put them on hold, and you kind of get permission for them to see. Like, it was also a little unclear with like the concierge because like you kind of like mentioned a couple things of like something about expense, and they didn't really understand it.
Mm-hmm.
It just had to be like just enough information where, like if we kind of role play that again. So like why don't I act like I'm the seller? You're at ease right here. You're you.
Okay.
It's like you came in at 138,500. Gosh, is that the best they can do?
Yeah, that's all they really authorized me to spend on the property.
Gosh, yeah, I was really hoping they can come in like at 145, 150.
45, 150. If we're role playing this and I would do it again, I would defend the cash.
Right.
We're not that far apart. I would really, really like defend the cash, but like for the sake, I guess, to bring up the concierge. Well,
No, that's good. Like, yeah, you should have defended the cash a little bit, right?
Right.
You should have got into the negotiation script and just be like, I guess, what's on your mind, right?
It doesn't sound like this. That 138 is just impossible for you to take an offer like that. Well, it's not.
Yeah, well, I didn't say it's impossible, like, I mean, I was really hoping at 145, 150, but, are you sure that's the best they can do?
Yeah, like I said, that's all they authorized me to spend.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I could take that.
I guess, what's on your mind?
If they could do 145, I think we have a deal.
45.
Yeah.
I mean, there could possibly be a way that we could do the 145. The only thing that comes to mind is our concierge service, which nothing really changes for you. The only thing we would really ask is a little bit more flexibility on the time and some reasonable access to the property.
I would do that again, and I would add like I might be getting a little ahead of myself here. Not every house or situation qualifies for this.
So scarcity first,
Yeah. Scarcity right there. Let's do that again.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys could do the 145, I think we could work something. Little kind of hard.
We could possibly do something like that. We do have this other program, our concierge service. I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself because not everybody qualifies for this. Nothing really changes for you. You still have the same benefits as a cash offer. The only thing that we would ask is a little bit more flexibility on the time and reasonable access to the property. Again, I'm not sure if they would approve it, but would you like to see if that's a possibility?
What does that entail?
Well, after
Right here.
okay, there we go. The way it works is just from doing so many transactions in Indiana, we have built all the systems, all the tools to get property sold. So we would essentially just work with our big network of realtors, other investors, and sometimes even retail buyers. And now these are situations where the property might not be a great fit for us, but it would be a great fit for someone else in our network. Again, we'll just need a little bit more flexibility with the closing date and reasonable access to the property.
And then right here, I would instead of like kind of going through all this, I'll be like, and that might allow me to maybe get you closer to that 145. And then I'd probably be like, would you like me to see if this is something that my underwriting team would get approved? You know?
You know what's crazy?
What?
I don't remember saying this that often lately. I've been mainly saying like this part and then down.
Right. Well, I think what we have to do is like I got to work on the pitch a little bit.
No, that's fine because that's how we always said it.
That's how we've always said it.
It's almost like that's how Rich said it.
Right.
It's just that I haven't been saying that.
You haven't been saying
I've been saying like we'll just need a little bit more flexibility with the closing date and reasonable access to the property. That's it.
Right. So on the pitch, what's gonna have to be important is that you give them a combination of holding, defending the cash offer, and a fear of uncertainty. I'm not really sure. I might be able to get you approved. And the way it works is we just need a little bit of this. And if we get a little bit of this, I think I actually might get you closer to that number. And they got to hear like, closer to that number right there. Right? So it's a little bit of like, I don't really know. I think your property might though. I think your property might. I just need a little bit more flexibility with the access and the timeline to close. Is that something you're open to hearing about? Yeah, so the way that it works is just from doing so many transactions in your state, you have all the systems to get properties sold, and we would essentially work with our network, and this would allow us to line up our end buyer beforehand, you know? Everything stays the same in terms of a cash offer because you would have a net number. We pay for everything, and I think I might be able to get you closer to that number. Is that something that you're open to hearing about?
Yeah, if you can do that number, I got no problem giving you a couple extra days.
Well, do you want me to see if I can get something approved?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so hang tight. I'm gonna put you on a quick hold. You're saying that if maybe I can get you that 145, do you think this is something that we might be able to work out?
Yeah, if you can do 145, we'll move forward.
Okay. Let me see what I can do for you, alright? Hang tight. Boom.
And like that, they would have easily taken it.
Right, so like, there was like some gray area the way that you pitched it.
Right.
And then it was also like a gray area where you had already pitched the 145. And when you pitched the 145, they you were kind of going back and forth. Like you were getting confusing. You were confusing them also because you're saying like, yeah, like the 140, they really try to come in like really close with that number, like because of X, Y, and Z, right?
I know I regret like coming in at 138 because I really wanted to get a 35 pop from that.
Because we knew that this was gonna be like an ovation.
Right.
The gap was too close.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So a couple things like just like throughout the whole thing, reinforce that 150. From there you come in at 120. 120 is not gonna work. You come in at 138. You came in at 120, and then you could have gone to like 135 ovation. You know what I'm saying? So let's just back up right there really quick.
Really is case by case. It's not that big of a gap.
That right there, you gotta say like, that's a pretty big gap right there. You know what I'm saying? That's a pretty big gap right there.
Yeah. That's not a gap.
Yeah,
That's a pretty big gap.
that's a pretty big gap right there.
Right. Because they have to feel like they won, right?
That's a pretty big gap right there.
Honestly, for the cash, it might not work. I could go back in there and check and see if they have a little bit for it.
Right there too. Right there, what you should have done is like, yeah, that 145. I just because I know what you're doing. You're already starting to like show them. You're already starting to show your card for the concierge, right? So you're saying like for the cash it might not work, but for the concierge it might work. You know what I'm saying? So what you should have said is like 45. I'm not sure how that's gonna work. Now, I might be getting ahead of myself. I'm not really sure. We do have a different alternative. Not every property qualifies for it. However, I think your property might. You know, it's called our concierge service, and I might be able to get you an approval closer to what you're looking for, but I'd have to double check. We'll just need a little bit more flexibility with the closing date and reasonable access to the property. It's a different program, you know? And just kind of like push and pull, make it seem like hard. You're not even sure. It's the Joker card, right?
Wiggle room in terms of the cash offer. One thing I do know for certain, and I only really brought it up briefly when we spoke last, just because it really is case by case. To get any increase, I'd have to see if this qualify for a concierge service, where basically nothing really changes. It's still the same as a cash offer. Only thing that they'll just need a little bit more flexibility with the time to close. Right now with the cash offer, because it's something that you do quick and efficiently, they got it approved for 45 days on closing.
Yeah, like that right there with the 45 days and the 60 days.
It's the first time they're hearing 45 days. Before when, because usually it's like, well, I got you approved for this, and then, but that's the first time they're hearing.
Right, they haven't even heard of the 45 days. When we pitch the concierge, we just want to say, instead of saying like numbers, like 60 days or 90 days, we say we just need a little bit more flexibility with the closing date. So that's just letting them know that like we just need a little bit more time, but nothing specific. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I'll just need a little bit more flexibility. It's just gonna take a little bit of extra time. You know what I'm saying? Just more flexibility with the closing time frame, and reasonable access. And to them, it's just like it's not like a hard like logical number. It's just like more flexibility. You know what I'm saying? It could mean 90 days, 120 days, but it's just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you're right. If you would have value stacked it first at the cash with a certain day, it's just like a little bit more extra time. Well, how much time? It's really not that much longer, honestly. You know, it's just an extra couple weeks.
That's a good thing. I didn't. That's why I start at 45 days, because when I would pitch the 60 days, I want to make it seem like it's not from 30 to 60. It's from 45 to 60. That's not. You know, that's why I went 45.
Perfect. That's good right there.
It's not that much.
That's good right there. I like that.
I didn't know we would.
And for the concierge service, all they would really ask is for that extra flexibility is to be able to close in 60 days, if that works for you guys.
What do you think the difference would be?
So basically, how that works is we work with our network, right? Our partners in this. So
they're considering it right here.
Right.
We're not going to put all the funds up front because we're going to be working with our partner.
That was weird right there, right? Yeah, again, that's like.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? That's already starting to confuse him right there. Funds is just like, yeah, you know, basically we would just work with our network of buyers. We have a strong network, and this would basically allow us to line up our end buyer beforehand. But nothing changes though. You would still get you a net number closer to like what you're looking for, and we still pay for everything.
There's something Retta said today. He said, what did he say? Like, why would we double close on the property when we could just avoid all that, make it more efficient for us, and line up our end buyer? Something like that.
He said that?
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that.
I can't remember exactly what he said.
We still have all the benefits where we still pay all the closing costs, we don't fix anything, so it's essentially the same thing as a cash offer, only that we'll need more reasonable access to have our network go in there and do their inspections.
Yeah, like even the last part for like the inspections and marketing, I was also just like, Like, it could have just been a simple, like, yeah, we would just need a little bit more flexibility to line up our end buyer beforehand. And then, because at this point, it was like a little bit of extra stuff, and they're just a little confused.
Pretty vague.
Is that something that you guys want me to see if I can get you approved for?
Well, see if that's an option. If it's not an option,
Right.
we'll have to consider the offer.
Right, yeah. I guess, either way, I gotta go back in there and.
You know what? They would have taken the 138.
They would have taken the 138.
If not, then we would consider the offer.
We would consider the offer. Yeah, they would have taken it. But at 138, they were thinking it for cash.
38 cash.
That was also like, it's like, we'll
we
see.
want them to say a number so that they could commit to a number.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, we'll see what they could do. Okay. Well, I guess, if I can get you approved for that, because at this point, they're kind of confused, but I think it was, like, they understood that it was something different.
Yeah.
And they understood that, like, you kind of like said, like, that it's probably a higher number, but like it was just enough for them to understand. Like, you said a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's just like you could have said, well, I guess if I can get you approved for our concierge program. Again, not saying I could, but if I could, what do you think would I mean, how do you think we can close that gap? Well, if you can come in at the 145, I think we'll be able to do it. So you really, what's important to you is like 145. Yeah, that's what's important to me. Well, if you'd like, I can go back over there and see if I can get this approved for you. Cause no, just doing some car review.
Oh shit. Yo, I have a hot lead if you're down to try to close it.
What is it?
This guy in California, one of my boys actually was trying to work him, and he's like, yo, I fucked up because he had his attorney review it, and he put like a dumb low EMD. This is a hot lead if you want to have it.
It's not like one of those like leads that you already gave him 2 or 3 leads and
If you don't want it, it's fine, but it's
nothing.
I want it, but I just want to make sure it's not like the other 3 where you made it sound nice. Then I called them, they don't know who the fuck I am.
What's your average LOA?